The galaxy had never been quieter. Every star system seemed to hold its breath, waiting for a storm that no one fully understood. In the heart of Zirath Prime, the Grand Alien Council gathered, a collection of the oldest, wisest, and most powerful species in existence. They sat atop towering crystalline spires that glittered like a million stars, their bodies radiating authority and ancient knowledge. The Council had faced countless wars, and their predictions had never failed. Today, their attention was focused on a tiny blue planet in an ordinary solar system, Earth. From the moment the Council's sensors scanned the planet, the verdict seemed clear. Humanity, with its fragile bodies and primitive technology, was ill-prepared to survive in the harsh galaxy. Elder Zarnak, the most respected and feared among the Council members, raised his claws and spoke with slow, deliberate authority. "These humans will fall within hours," he declared. "Their fleets are weak. Their weapons are crude. Resistance is futile." Murmurs of agreement spread through the chamber. No member dared challenge Zarnak. His predictions were flawless, and his reputation was absolute. The Council had seen species rise and crumble in the blink of an eye. Humanity, it seemed, would be no different. But far from Zirath Prime on Earth, humans were preparing. In orbit above their planet, Admiral Selena Kane stood on the bridge of the flagship Resolute, her eyes scanning the darkness of space. The alien fleets were vast, hundreds of warships bristling with technology designed to obliterate entire planets. The Council expected fear to spread through human ranks. Instead, Kane felt something she had always known about her species, a relentless, unshakable resolve. "They think we'll fall," she whispered, her voice steady. Around her, officers and crew moved with quiet urgency, setting their positions and readying defenses. "Let's show them what humans are made of." On Zirath Prime, the Council continued its discussion. Some urged immediate bombardment, claiming that ending humanity quickly would save time. Others argued for observation, curious about how a species so fragile could even hope to survive. Zarnak silenced them all. "No, we must see their end. Humanity's fall will be a lesson for every civilization that dares to challenge the galaxy." Meanwhile, Earth's networks buzzed with activity. Scientists, engineers, and soldiers worked in synchrony, preparing weapons and defenses that even the most sophisticated scanners of the Council could not detect. Every colony sent reports. Every fleet calculated strategies. Humanity was small yet determined. A single message pulsed through their communication systems: fight, survive, endure. And then the aliens arrived. Massive warships appeared like shadows in the void, their weapons blazing as they tore through Earth's outer colonies. The Council leaned forward, expecting the humans to scatter, scream, and surrender. But humans did something the Council had never seen before. They fought. Within moments, human ships formed intricate patterns, attacking with precision that seemed impossible for their size. Energy beams struck alien vessels with deadly accuracy. Explosions tore through the darkness, yet human ships adapted and moved forward. Each strike, each maneuver, showed a species that refused to fall, that refused to be counted out. The Council grew uneasy. Zarnak's claws trembled slightly. This is impossible," he whispered. "They should have fallen already." On the Resolute, Admiral Kane shouted above the alarms. "All units engage at maximum. Protect the colonies. Protect Earth. Remember who we are humanity." Her crew cheered, not out of blind pride, but out of something older, deeper. The fierce instinct to survive, to fight against impossible odds, to endure when all hope seems lost. It was a belief that no Council could measure, no machine could predict, and no weapon could destroy. Hours passed. The Council expected defeat. The humans expected nothing but survival. And somewhere deep inside, in every human heart, a single truth shone brighter than all the alien technology in the galaxy. Strength is not in power alone. It is in courage, in unity, in spirit. And so, as the first wave of battle raged across the stars, humanity did not falter. They fought. And in that moment, the galaxy began to realize something it had never known. These humans, they were unstoppable. The battle had begun, but the humans did not panic. Across the galaxy, the alien fleets expected to see chaos and surrender, but instead they witnessed an organized storm. Human ships moved like living predators, weaving between enemy fire, striking with precision that defied their size and technology. Every alien vessel that thought it could overpower a human ship was met with unexpected resistance. Explosions, energy blasts, and the unyielding courage of human crews. Admiral Selena Kane stood on the bridge of the Resolute, her eyes never leaving the holographic battlefield. Form up, target their command ships. Protect the colonies at all costs. Her voice was calm, but every word carried a steel-hard determination. Around her, officers executed commands without hesitation, their movements precise, almost instinctive. This was more than training. It was human will manifest in motion. On Zirath Prime, Elder Zarnak's eyes widened in disbelief. He watched the monitors as ships smaller and slower than any of his own cut through the enemy ranks with unmatched strategy. Impossible, he muttered. Their tactics, their speed. It cannot be. His fellow council members whispered among themselves, but no one offered answers. Humanity was breaking every rule the council had ever relied on. The humans were not just defending, they were counterattacking. Using intelligence gathered from the first moments of battle, they identified weak points in the alien formations. Energy beams fired in unison struck the alien command vessels, disrupting communication and control. Entire wings of alien warships faltered, spinning out of formation, while humans advanced relentlessly. On board a human frigate, Lieutenant Arik Hayes gripped the controls as enemy fire tore through the void around him. He could feel the heat of the explosions even inside the shielded cockpit. Yet he did not hesitate. Hold the line. Push forward. Humanity will not fall today. His voice was echoed by every pilot, every soldier, every technician. Fear had no place here, only resolve. Back on Earth, civilians watched the battle through broadcasts. The fear of annihilation was replaced by awe and pride. They saw ships smaller than city blocks outmaneuver alien giants, saw weapons of human design dismantle the pride of the galaxy's strongest species. Children, adults, and elders alike felt the thrill of hope ignite. Humanity was fighting not just for survival, they were fighting to prove themselves to the universe. The alien council tried to adapt, sending reinforcements and recalculating strategies. But the humans were always one step ahead. They were unpredictable, relentless, and terrifyingly clever. In a single coordinated strike, a human fleet destroyed an alien capital ship that should have crushed an entire planetary defense. The explosions lit the dark void like a sunburst, and for the first time, the council members whispered fearfully. Zarnak slammed his claws against the crystalline table. They are stronger than we ever imagined. These humans, they should have fallen within hours. How can this be? His words echoed in the chamber, but no answer came. The council had never seen a species capable of such rapid adaptation, such raw determination, and such fearless unity. In the middle of the chaos, Admiral Kane knew something the aliens could not comprehend. She looked out at the stars, each explosion a testament to human courage. We fight not because we must, but because we refuse to surrender. We fight for our families, our homes, our planet, and for each other. And that is a power no one can take from us. Her crew nodded, eyes bright with shared understanding. The human fleet pressed forward, pushing the alien forces back, winning territory they had never expected to hold. Every victory, no matter how small, strengthened their resolve. Every alien ship destroyed became a symbol. Humanity would not be defeated. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. And across the galaxy, the Alien Council realized that their prediction, the humans' inevitable fall, was crumbling. A species they had dismissed as weak was rewriting the rules of war, rewriting the destiny they had written for them. For the first time, the Council felt something it had not felt in centuries. Fear. The galaxy burned with energy and fire. Explosions lit the void as human ships tore through the alien formations with relentless precision. What began as a desperate defense had turned into a calculated counterattack. Humanity was no longer simply surviving. They were reshaping the battle itself. Admiral Selena Kane stood tall on the bridge of the Resolute, her hands gripping the rail as she watched her fleet move like a single organism. "We hold our line," she commanded, her voice steady yet fierce. "Strike at their supply ships. Break their formations. Show them that humans do not surrender." Every crew member knew the stakes. Every human pilot, soldier, and engineer felt the same burning determination in their hearts. They were not fighting for victory alone. They were fighting to prove their place in the galaxy. Lieutenant Arik Hayes piloted his fighter through a storm of alien fire, weaving past energy blasts with near-perfect timing. Around him, human squads moved in synchronized patterns, anticipating one another's movements with uncanny instinct. Each strike they delivered crippled enemy ships, forcing them into retreat. "Push harder," he yelled into the comms. "No retreat. No mercy." Back on Zirath Prime, the Grand Alien. Council watched in disbelief. Elder Zarnak's claws shook as he observed the human fleet dismantle their largest warship in minutes. "It cannot be," he growled. "They are not just resisting, they are dominating." Other council members whispered nervously, their glowing eyes filled with fear. No simulation, no prediction, no calculation had ever prepared them for this. Humanity was rewriting every law of war they had ever known. Even among the humans, the battle's intensity was overwhelming. Ships were destroyed, alarms blared, and fires erupted across countless decks. Yet in every corner of the fleet, courage burned brighter than fear. Soldiers risked everything to protect one another. Engineers worked tirelessly to repair what seemed irreparable, and pilots dove into impossible maneuvers to save their comrades. In the midst of the chaos, Admiral Kane made a choice that would change the course of the war. She directed the fleet to a bold strike, a concentrated attack on the alien command station at the heart of their formation. It was dangerous, almost suicidal, but it carried the chance to cripple the enemy's entire operation. "We may lose many," she said quietly to herself, "but the galaxy will know the name of humanity." The human fleet surged forward, energy weapons firing in perfect synchronization. Alien ships that had seemed invincible were torn apart, their communications disrupted, their formations crumbling. The command station, the very heart of the alien strategy, exploded in a blinding light. Silence echoed briefly across the void as the shockwave of victory reached every human ship. On the bridge of the Resolute, the crew cheered, tears streaming down faces hardened by months of preparation. Admiral Kane allowed herself a small smile. "We have struck the heart. The rest will follow," she said. Her voice was calm, but it carried the weight of triumph that every human felt in their bones. Across the galaxy, the Council panicked. Predictions had failed. Hours, they had said, and humanity would fall. Now, days or even hours into the battle, humans were not only standing, they were winning. Zarnak's voice trembled as he addressed the chamber. They are not what we thought. This species is dangerous beyond reason." But it was not technology or numbers that made humanity unstoppable. It was something deeper: courage, unity, and the refusal to surrender. Humans fought not because they expected to win, they fought because they could not imagine surrender. Every life lost strengthened the will of those who remained. Every small victory sparked hope, and hope became a weapon sharper than any energy beam. In the dark expanse of space, amid the wreckage of alien ships and blazing debris, one truth became clear to all who watched. Humanity was not just surviving. Humanity was awakening, and nothing would stand in their way. And for the first time in centuries, the Grand Alien Council realized a terrifying truth. The humans they had predicted to fall in hours were capable of changing the fate of the galaxy in moments. The stars themselves seemed to tremble as the humans advanced. Alien fleets, vast and powerful, that had once intimidated entire civilizations, now reeled under the force of human strategy and courage. Every strike from the human fleet was precise, calculated, and devastating. It was as if the chaos of their spirit had become a weapon the galaxy had never seen. Admiral Selena Kane watched from the Resolute, her face lit by the glow of distant explosions. Her eyes reflected the courage of every human who had dared to fight against impossible odds. "Hold nothing back," she commanded. "Every ship, every weapon, push them to their limits. Humanity will not be forgotten." Her voice carried over the fleet, reaching every pilot and soldier. There was no hesitation, only action. Only the fierce drive to survive and triumph. In the midst of battle, Lieutenant Arik Hayes maneuvered his fighter through a corridor of alien fire. He dodged blasts that would have destroyed lesser pilots. Around him, humans moved like a single organism, anticipating each other, covering each other, saving lives in the middle of chaos. "We will not fall," he shouted into his comms. "For Earth! For humanity!" Back on Zirath Prime, Elder Zarnak's claws trembled as he stared at the monitors. Entire alien squadrons were being destroyed in minutes, dismantled not by technology alone but by human ingenuity and fearlessness. The council members whispered urgently, panic rising in their voices. "This is impossible," one of them murmured. "They are not just surviving. They are winning." The humans were no longer on the defensive. They struck with boldness that seemed reckless, but every maneuver was guided by instinct, courage, and an unbreakable bond between soldiers. Human fleets tore through alien lines, disabling ships, cutting off reinforcements, and protecting each other with unmatched coordination. Every victory, no matter how small, sent a wave of hope rippling through the human forces. On board the Resolute, Admiral Kane directed her fleet to hit critical alien supply lines. She knew the alien forces were vast, but even vast fleets could falter if their heart was broken. "Strike where it hurts," she said quietly, almost to herself. "They underestimate us. Let's remind them who we are." The attack was devastating. Alien supply vessels exploded, sending debris into the void, and the alien warships' coordination collapsed. Without communication and logistics, their fleets were lost, moving blindly into human counterattacks. Every alien ship destroyed added to the legend of human resilience. Even civilians on Earth and the colonies watched in awe. Images of human pilots dodging impossible attacks, human engineers repairing ships mid-battle, and human soldiers charging through enemy lines filled their screens. Hope, which had once felt fragile, now burned brightly. Humanity was not just fighting for survival. They were showing the galaxy that courage and spirit could defy any expectation. The Grand Alien Council could no longer deny the truth. Their predictions, their calculations, all had failed. Humanity had not fallen. Humanity had not even stumbled. They were unstoppable. Elder Zarnak slammed his claws against the crystalline table, the sound echoing through the chamber. "These humans, they are beyond comprehension," he growled. "They are not a species we can destroy. They are a force of nature." As the battle raged, Admiral Kane looked out at the stars littered with alien debris. She felt the weight of every life lost and the thrill of every victory won. "We fight for each other," she said softly. "For our homes, for our families, for Earth. And no one, no matter how powerful, can take that from us." Her crew nodded, tears and smiles mixed, their hearts burning with pride and determination. In the void of space, humans were no longer just defending, they were conquering. Every strike, every maneuver, every life given and saved was a testament to the truth the universe had yet to learn. Humans do not yield. Humans do not surrender. Humans endure. And somewhere deep in the council chambers of Zirath Prime, Elder Zarnak realized a chilling fact. The humans they predicted would fall in hours were now the ones deciding the fate of the galaxy itself. The void of space was alive with fire and motion. Human ships advanced with a relentless determination, their energy weapons cutting through alien formations like blades through silk. Every strike was precise, every maneuver calculated, yet powered by a courage the galaxy had never seen. Humanity was no longer merely resisting, it was reshaping the war. Admiral Selena Kane stood on the bridge of the Resolute, her eyes scanning the chaos with unwavering focus. "Target their remaining command ships. Break their lines. We fight as one!" Her crew responded instantly, their movements fluid, almost instinctive. They trusted her completely, because she embodied the same spirit that had carried humanity through centuries of survival, against impossible odds. Lieutenant Arik Hayes piloted his fighter with fearless precision, dodging blasts that could have obliterated lesser pilots. Around him, human squads moved as a single unit, covering one another, protecting weaker ships and striking where it hurt the enemy most. "Push them back. Push them all the way," he yelled into the comms. Every word was a rallying cry, a declaration of humanity's unstoppable resolve. On Zirath Prime, the Grand Alien Council panicked. Elder Zarnak's claws trembled as he watched the monitors. Alien warships, supposedly superior, unstoppable, were falling one by one. Entire fleets were collapsing under attacks humans had launched without hesitation. "This cannot be happening," Zarnak growled. "They were supposed to crumble in hours, and yet they fight. And they win." The humans pressed their advantage. Earth's fleet targeted the alien supply and reinforcement lines, ensuring no retreat or regrouping. Ships that had once been thought untouchable now burned in the dark of space, victims of human ingenuity and unyielding courage. Every destroyed vessel sent shockwaves through the remaining alien forces, eroding their confidence and forcing them into chaos. On board the Resolute, Admiral Kane made a bold decision. She directed a concentrated strike at the heart of the alien fleet, their central command nexus. It was a risk that could cost hundreds of human lives, but she knew the only way to end the war was to strike decisively. "We fight for Earth, we fight for humanity," she said quietly. "And we will not fail." The strike was executed with flawless coordination. Human ships moved as one, overwhelming the alien defenses with a combination of cunning strategy and sheer audacity. The command nexus erupted in a colossal explosion, sending shockwaves across the battlefield. Alien ships nearby spun out of control, their crews thrown into panic and confusion. Across Earth and the human colonies, civilians watched the broadcasts with tears in their eyes. The impossible was happening. Ships thought weak, pilots thought ordinary, and a species written off as fragile were dismantling the enemy with courage, unity, and unbreakable resolve. Humanity was proving itself to the galaxy, not with brute strength alone, but with spirit, intelligence, and the refusal to surrender. The Council on Zirath Prime was silent, the usual confidence replaced by disbelief and fear. They are beyond calculation," one member whispered. "Our predictions, our strategies, all of it failed. Humanity is unstoppable." Elder Zarnak's eyes glowed with a mixture of awe and terror. The species he had predicted would fall in hours had just dismantled his entire strategy in moments. On the Resolute, Admiral Kane watched the battlefield with quiet satisfaction, but not arrogance. She thought of every pilot, every engineer, every soldier who had fought, sacrificed, and endured. "We fight because we must. We survive because we refuse to yield. We are humanity," she said softly. Her words carried through the fleet, binding every human together in a shared understanding. Victory was not just about defeating the enemy. It was about proving the strength of the human spirit. In the cold, dark expanse of space, humans were no longer merely participants in a war. They were the force that defined it. Alien fleets fell, command structures collapsed, and the tide of battle shifted irreversibly. The humans, the species the galaxy had dismissed, were now the arbiters of fate itself. And as the Council looked on, horrified yet awed, one undeniable truth emerged. The humans they had predicted would fall in hours had not only survived, they had begun to end the war in moments. The galaxy was no longer quiet. It roared with the sound of energy blasts and exploding ships. Human fleets moved like a storm across the stars, striking every alien formation with precision and unshakable determination. What had begun as a fight for survival had become a mission of triumph. Humanity was no longer just resisting, they were winning, and the enemy could do nothing to stop them. Admiral Selena Kane stood on the bridge of the Resolute, her gaze sharp, her voice steady. "All units, advance. Target the remaining command ships. Protect every colony. Humanity does not retreat." Around her, the crew responded with seamless coordination. Every pilot, every engineer, every soldier shared the same determination. They would not only survive, they would conquer the impossible. Lieutenant Arik Hayes weaved through enemy fire, his fighter dancing between explosions and debris. He fired at key alien vessels, crippling them with unrelenting precision. "We are humans," he shouted into the comms. "We fight together, we survive together, and we win together." His words echoed across the fleet, a declaration of unity that no alien could understand and no weapon could destroy. Across the galaxy, the Grand Alien Council watched in horrified fascination. Elder Zarnak's claws trembled as his screens displayed the ongoing human assault. Entire alien formations were collapsing. Ships that were thought invincible now floated in space, destroyed or abandoned. "This is impossible," Zarnak growled. "We predicted their fall in hours, and yet they have broken everything we believed. They are unstoppable." Even as humans celebrated small victories, they showed no arrogance. Every destroyed alien ship, every weakened fleet was met with the same careful strategy and protective coordination. They saved wounded crews, rescued stranded pilots, and defended colonies with unmatched courage. Humanity's strength was not only in their weapons or tactics, it was in their spirit, their unity, and their refusal to leave anyone behind. Admiral Kane directed the fleet toward the heart of the remaining alien forces, a final strike that would determine the outcome of the war. "We finish this," she said quietly, her eyes reflecting the explosions across the void. For Earth, for every colony, for every human who has ever fought to survive, we end this war together. Her words carried through every ship, igniting a fierce determination in every human soul. The attack was swift, precise, and devastating. Human weapons struck the remaining command ships with surgical accuracy. Alien fleets scattered in confusion, unable to respond to the speed, intelligence, and ferocity of human tactics. The galaxy watched in awe as humans dismantled what had seemed an undefeatable enemy. Every explosion, every victory was a testament to the resilience of a species that refused to accept defeat. Back on Earth, civilians erupted in cheers as reports came in from every colony. Families embraced, children laughed, and elders cried. The impossible had been achieved. Humanity had not only survived, they had triumphed. They had taken on the most powerful forces in the galaxy and emerged victorious, proving that courage, unity, and willpower could surpass any technological superiority. The Grand Alien Council could no longer deny the truth. Their predictions had failed spectacularly. Humanity, which they had predicted would fall in hours, had turned the tide of war and crushed fleets that had ruled the galaxy for centuries. Elder Zarnak sat in stunned silence, realizing a truth he could not ignore. Humans were unlike any species the galaxy had ever known. On the bridge of the Resolute, Admiral Kane looked out at the stars, now quiet except for the distant wreckage of alien ships. She felt the weight of every life lost, the pride of every victory earned, and the unshakable knowledge that humanity had achieved something extraordinary. "We fight, we endure, we survive," she said softly. "And now, we prevail." Humanity had proven itself not by destruction alone, but by courage, unity, and spirit. The alien fleets were broken, the colonies were safe, and the galaxy had learned a lesson it would never forget. Humans were not weak. Humans were unstoppable. As the human fleets regrouped, repairing and supporting one another, one thing was certain: the war was over. And humanity had not only survived, it had become a legend, a force the galaxy would never forget. The galaxy was quiet now, but not peaceful. Silence hung over the stars, broken only by the drifting wreckage of alien fleets. Human ships moved steadily through the void, their crews exhausted but alive, their hearts burning with pride and relief. The war that the galaxy had predicted would end in hours had lasted moments. But in those moments, humanity had changed everything. Admiral Selena Kane stood on the bridge of the Resolute, her gaze sweeping across the remaining alien forces. Their fleets were scattered, broken, and leaderless. She exhaled slowly, feeling the weight of what had been achieved. "This is it," she said softly. "Humanity does not just survive. Humanity prevails." Lieutenant Arik Hayes looked at the destruction around him, at the alien ships that had once seemed unstoppable. He thought of every pilot, every engineer, every soldier who had fought, risked, and given their all. "We did it," he whispered into his comms, tears welling in his eyes. "We really did it." Across the galaxy, the Grand Alien Council stared at their monitors in disbelief. Elder Zarnak's claws rested heavily on the crystalline table. They were supposed to fall. Within hours, and yet, his voice trembled. He could not finish the sentence. The humans had not only survived, they had ended the war in moments. Entire fleets had been destroyed, command structures shattered, and the alien strategy erased. The Council had underestimated the very essence of humanity: courage, unity, and the refusal to surrender. Back on Earth, celebrations were muted but heartfelt. Families hugged, tears streaked their faces, and voices rose in quiet songs of relief and pride. Humanity had faced extinction and had emerged victorious, proving to themselves and the galaxy that they were not fragile, not weak, and not to be underestimated. In space, human pilots navigated the wreckage, rescuing stranded crews and salvaging what they could. They fought not out of malice but out of responsibility, to preserve life, to honor their fallen comrades, and to protect the galaxy from further chaos. Their humanity, even in the midst of war, shone brighter than any energy weapon. Admiral Kane addressed her fleet one last time. "We fought against impossible odds. We faced the strongest forces in the galaxy, and we have won, not just with weapons, but with spirit. Every life, every action, every sacrifice has mattered. Humanity has shown the galaxy who we are." Her words resonated through every ship, every soldier, every human heart. The alien remnants, scattered and leaderless, had no choice but to retreat. Their fleets, once proud and terrifying, fled into the void. carrying the message that humanity was a force no one could challenge. The humans had not merely survived, they had reshaped the future of the galaxy. Elder Zarnak, staring at the remains of his once mighty forces, whispered, "Perhaps we were wrong to predict their fall. Perhaps humanity is unstoppable." His voice carried a mix of fear, awe, and respect. For the first time in centuries, the Council recognized a species they could neither predict nor control. Admiral Kane looked out at the stars, her mind heavy with thoughts of the lives lost and the battles fought. "We will rebuild," she said quietly. "We will remember, and we will continue, not as conquerors but as humans, united, strong, fearless." In that moment, the galaxy understood a truth that could never be denied. Humans were more than their technology, more than their ships, more than their weapons. Humans were courage and spirit, resilience and unity, the very essence of survival against impossible odds. They had faced annihilation and had emerged as legends. And as the human fleet regrouped,